So let's whip through these.
Part 4.
Part 4. Talking baseball. I'm Rocket Kirchner, your host. 2015 with Ken and Tom. We are back for more.
Zach Bunnington.
We are back to do more damage.
Zach Bunnington.
Yes, that's what we call it. Okay, now these are personal predictions. One man's opinion. Personal predictions. I'm going to start off first.
You go.
Okay.
Go for it, baby.
The Central is going to be where the action is at as far as all out duking it out. I think the AL Central is going to be a triangle of the White Sox, who have retooled, Kansas City, who got, if they had the chemistry they had last year, they're going to be hot, and Detroit's going to be hot. I think it's going to be three-way. I think in the Central, in the NL Central, it's going to at least be a three-way. I think the Central is where the action's at. I think that San Francisco and LA will go at it again. I think if LA gets middle relief, they're going to be monsters. The dark horse for me is Seattle this year, and we don't have time to get into the reasons why. It's just my predictions, and I think that probably probably the Marlins, because of the Stanton contract, $350 million Stanton contract they're building around him. We might see some interesting stuff on that go away. And Boston is going to be Boston this year. They're going to be a problem.
Every other year.
And Yankees are going nowhere this year. Okay, Ken.
Well, first off, I just want to say predictions are what they are. Predictions are what they are. Predictions. And as far as my personal prediction, being a St. Louis baseball Cardinal fanatic, I in the worst way want to see the Cardinals, of course, win the World Series, that, of course. But if being a realist here, this is my prediction. It's all going to Chicago this year. It's going to be an all Chicago World Series. The White Sox are stacked. The Cubs are stacked. And Joe Madden said it like this. This is another quote by Joe Madden, and I love this quote. He said, "In my mind's eye, I am going to be talking playoffs this year." Okay? He didn't say I'm going to win the World Series, but see, in the way he works, it's not that. See, a lot of teams use this rebuilding thing. No, that's not the way Madden works. His gig is going right into the playoffs and going for the ultimate goal, which is that ring.
Yeah.
And for me, I think on the other end, without getting into any details, I think Chicago. Chicago, dun, 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 all Chicago this year.
Okay, Tommy.
Well,
make sure.
Being a St. Louis guy,
you mentioned the Padres.
The Padres have made some moves in the offseason, to try and compete in that West, with the Dodgers and the Giants. I think the Giants let Kung Fu Panda go, and I think that's going to hurt them.
I agree.
Right in the middle of the lineup, I think that's really going to hurt. Now, on the other hand, they have outstanding pitching, and nobody's talked here tonight about Washington, who just signed Max Scherzer. You got and then what's his name's the other $1 million bonus baby that they had. They had the best pitching staff in all of baseball last year. See what that got them though? Nothing.
Right.
They didn't even make the playoffs. They haven't won a playoff game yet, and they've had and now they've added another $300 million to their payroll with Max Scherzer.
Yeah, exactly.
Does that make them win? No. Does Madden come over to the Cubs make them better? Yes. Does Lester go in there make them better? Yes. Does it make them gonna win? I don't know. No one knows that. You have to play 162 games.
Right.
We all know.
It's a marathon.
It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. I like the Cardinals' chances just as well as I like anybody's chances.
Absolutely.
Then you got your White Sox. I heard conversation earlier before we went on film about the Angels being down and out. I don't know why. They're going to have a lot of the same guys back. I know they're getting a little older.
What about Boston?
Boston's going to be right there. I'm telling you now, in that East,
absolutely,
Boston will be there.
Their pitching,
and they made some changes, and and what looked like they were selling the farm or selling all their players and stuff like that. Well, people forget about who they got there, you know what I mean, and with a little health. And I'll tell you, and one of the things about baseball is, and going back to it being a marathon, is that health is such a big issue.
Oh, that's a huge issue.
3 or 4 years ago, I forget, Carpenter was, we were going to have Carpenter's number 1, Wainwright's number 2. We got this young kid named Lance Lynn who just came off an 18-win season. And all of a sudden in spring training, Carpenter, he can't answer the bell. Wainwright's going to have shoulder surgery.
Injury's
and boom,
a factor.
2 out of the 5 starters, boom, right off the bat are out.
All the time.
And so injuries play a big role. Consistency.
There's so many factors.
There's a lot of factors.
Right.
But one thing about baseball is that you don't get in football, because football's got a 16-game season, and you go on a 2-3 game losing streak in football, and you're out. You're out of the picture.
Yeah.
In baseball, you can go on an 8, 9, 10 game losing streak, turn around and win 11 out of 12. You know what I mean? And you're right back in the picture. Because other teams will have. It's a game of streaks.
Yes.
Baseball, and streaks follow streaks, so they say. The old timers say streaks follow streaks. So don't get too excited. And that's one thing that Joe Madden.
I was just going to say this. When it comes to the injury factor, Joe Madden knows how to shuffle it up.
And that's what the good ones do.
Yes.
That's what the good ones do. And they can plug this guy in and still stay competitive.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like. What's the Joe? What's the kid's name from Cincinnati? You know what I mean? The first baseman.
Joey Votto.
Votto. You know what I mean?
Right.
He goes down and boom, that club's devastated.
Exactly.
The Philadelphia Phillies fell off the map. 5 years ago, they're just,
Francisco's off the grid in 2012.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So Philadelphia, they go and they get Lee, and they got all these pitchers, man, they signed them all. Where'd they go? Nowhere.
Well, let's go to the sign off on this one, and we got our predictions, so.